Back with another episode of Save or Skip, raw gameplay, first impressions, and a straight answer on whether the game is worth your time or better left alone. I'm Linda, and today we're diving into Pragmata. Capcom announced Pragmata in 2020, and then basically nothing happened for 6 years. No gameplay, no release date, just a mysterious trailer of a guy in a spacesuit carrying a little girl on the moon, and a whole lot of silence after that. So, when it finally came out in April 2026, people were understandably cautious. 6 years of development on a brand new IP from a studio that usually sticks to its established franchises. That is either going to be something special or a complete disaster. Turns out, it is something special. This is my full review of Pragmata. The setup. So here is the situation. You play as Hugh Williams. He is an engineer, not a soldier. He gets sent to a massive research facility on the moon called the Cradle because Earth lost contact with it, and nobody knows why. His team lands, things immediately go wrong, and Hugh ends up alone, injured, and completely out of options. Then a little girl finds him. Her name is Diana. Except she is not actually a girl. She is an android, a robot built to look and act like a child, who has been wandering the facility alone. She has no idea what happened to everyone. She just knows this hurt man on the floor needs help. And that is where the game begins. 2 completely mismatched people, one falling apart moon base, and a rogue AI called IDUS, sending everything it can print to stop them from getting home. The premise is simple. What the game does with it is not. The story. Let me be upfront about something. The plot of Pragmata is not complicated. You will figure out roughly where it is heading by the halfway point. There is no huge twist that reframes everything. The story goes where you think it is going. And it still got me. Because the plot is not the point. Hugh and Diana are the point. Hugh is not the typical action game protagonist. He is not a grizzled veteran with a tragic backstory who slowly learns to feel things again. He is just a normal, decent guy who treats Diana like she matters almost immediately. He answers her questions. He explains things to her. He worries about her. He does not make a big dramatic moment out of deciding to care. He just does. Diana, on the other hand, is curious about absolutely everything. She has the enthusiasm of a kid who just discovered the world exists and cannot believe how much there is in it. She is funny, warm, and genuinely charming in a way that a robot character in a video game almost never manages to be. Together, they work really well. There is a moment where they are back at their safe house between missions, and Diana is just playing, rolling a little car around, tossing a ball, looking at a globe with complete concentration. Hugh is sitting nearby watching her. Nothing is happening plot-wise. No dialogue explaining anything. Just 2 beings existing in the same space. That moment hit harder than most games' big emotional cutscenes. One fair criticism is that their bond forms a little fast. Hugh's entire team just got wiped out by robots, and he warms up to Diana pretty quickly for someone who should probably be more shaken up. The game skips over some of the awkward early period you might expect. But once their dynamic gets going, it is hard to stay bothered by that. There is also no real villain here, in the traditional sense. The disaster that happened on the moon was not caused by someone deciding to be evil. It came from human mistakes, human love, human ambition going wrong in ways nobody intended. That is an unusual choice for this kind of game, and it gives the whole story a different emotional texture than you are probably expecting. By the end, I was not ready for it to be over. That is the best thing I can say about a story. How it plays. Okay. This is the part I have been looking forward to talking about. Pragmata has one of the most original combat systems in a long time, and I want to make sure I explain it properly, because it sounds more confusing than it actually is. Hugh handles the shooting side of things. He moves, he dodges, he fires weapons. Standard third-person action game controls. You have done this before. But here's the twist. Most of the robots in this game have armor that makes regular weapons almost useless. The only way to crack them open is Diana's hacking ability. And Diana hacks in real time, while you are still playing as Hugh. When you aim at an enemy, a grid appears next to it on screen. Diana is working through that grid using the face buttons on your controller, trying to reach a specific node. When she hits it, the robot's armor breaks open and Hugh can finish it off. So you are doing two things at once, moving and shooting with the left side of your brain, navigating a hacking puzzle with the right side, all at the same time, while robots are actively trying to flatten you. It sounds like a lot. The first hour or so, it genuinely is a lot. But the game teaches it to you gradually, and somewhere around the third mission, your hands just figure it out. You stop thinking about it separately, and it becomes one flowing thing. And when it clicks, it feels amazing. The weapons grow more interesting as the game goes on. You pick up things that work like shotguns, grenade launchers, and more specialized tools that interact with Diana's hacking in different ways. Some weapons work better on certain robot types. Some hacking upgrades open up new approaches. The whole system keeps adding options without ever feeling overwhelming. The exploration side is solid too. Hugh has a jetpack that lets him zip around the facility. Diana can hack into the station's security systems to open paths and unlock doors. Moving through the base feels good, and the levels are designed well enough that backtracking to find things you missed does not feel like a chore. Now, the one thing I have to flag: the training simulations. These are optional challenge rooms scattered through the game. Completing them gets you keys to unlock certain upgrade rooms, so they are not completely avoidable if you want to build out your gear properly. And some of them are genuinely frustrating. Not difficult in a satisfying way, frustrating in a way that feels out of step with the rest of the experience. The main game is tough but fair. Some of these simulations just feel cheap. It is not a deal breaker, but it is the one part of the game where I put the controller down and took a breath before trying again. How it looks and sounds. Pragmata looks unlike most games. The visual style has been described as NASA punk, and that is pretty accurate. Everything has a chunky, functional, retro future quality to it. Big, heavy machinery, thick cables. Technology that looks like it was designed to last rather than to look sleek. Then, the AI starts printing things. The rogue AI running the base has been using the moon's resources to 3D print versions of Earth. Cities, buildings, streets. Except it does not quite get them right. The results are warped, half-finished, wrong in ways you cannot always immediately identify. You walk through something that is supposed to be a city district, and it feels just off enough to be deeply unsettling. It is a genuinely clever visual idea that also works as a commentary on AI-generated content in the real world, which feels very deliberate on Capcom's part. The voice acting is excellent. Hugh's voice actor finds exactly the right balance between regular guy and someone slowly realizing he would do anything for this kid. Diana is charming without tipping into grating, which is a harder line to walk than it sounds. The music knows when to stay quiet. Some of the most effective moments in the game have almost no score at all, just the hum of the facility and the sound of two people figuring things out together. How long is it? Pragmata runs about 12 hours for most players on a normal playthrough. If you explore carefully and track down collectibles, closer to 14 or 15. There is post-game content and a New Game Plus mode that unlocks after you finish, plus a harder difficulty for people who want to push the combat system further. For a $59.99 game, that is a reasonable amount of content. It is not trying to be a 60-hour open-world game. It tells its story, it does its thing well, and it ends at the right time. The verdict. Pragmata is the kind of game the industry needs more of. It is a big-budget, single-player, brand-new IP with a genuinely original idea at its center, and 2 characters worth caring about. It does not overstay its welcome. It does not pad itself out. It takes its concept, executes it with real craft, and trusts the player to get on board. The story is predictable but emotionally effective. The combat system is one of the freshest ideas in action games in years. The world looks and feels like nothing else out right now. And Hugh and Diana are a duo that will stick with you after the credits roll. The training simulations are annoying. The friendship builds a bit faster than it probably should. And yes, you will see the ending coming from a distance. None of that changes what this game is. Pragmata is a save. Full stop. If you have been on the fence since that first trailer back in 2020, the wait was worth it. Go play it. If this is the kind of breakdown you're after, straight talk, real gameplay, stick around. There's plenty more coming your way. Remember to like, share, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe. This is Game Saved. Saved you a click.